Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
People describe this as, someone in the later stages of this, someone putting a pillow over your face and smothering you to death, because it affects lung capacity and breathing capacities.
Governor Doug Burgum today making sure North Dakotans take this pandemic seriously. In his daily news conference, the governor said if you don't know someone who's been sick with COVID-19 or died from it, then it's time to get up to speed on how it can affect you and why the social distancing guidelines are in place. Also today, Governor Burgum amended his earlier travel quarantine, saying there are exceptions for people who live and work in different states, pick up medicine or mail, or even bike and walk from one state to the next.
Immediately when Minnesota went on this list, we had all kinds of people saying, hey, I'm a nurse, I live in East Grand Forks, but I work at Altru in Grand Forks. Can I still go to work? Answer is yes. People in Fargo, because they may get their drugs at Walgreens in Moorhead, and they said, hey, can we go to Moorhead? And if we go, can we come back? The answer is yes.
Let's get to the COVID-19 numbers in North Dakota. State health officials are confirming 14 new cases across the state. Officials say half of those cases have been confirmed in Cass County. That's 7 new Cass County cases, bringing the total to 77. Burleigh County remains the second highest with 42 cases, and Grand Forks is still reporting 11 cases. Over 8,500 have been tested. 98 people have recovered from COVID-19. 16 have been hospitalized. The number of positive cases in the state is 251, and 4 people have died. You can head over to our VNL News app to see the counties affected in North Dakota and Minnesota. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz announcing this afternoon he is extending the state's stay-at-home order until May 4th. Walz's original order took effect March 27th and was set to continue through this Friday. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley breaks down today's news conference and why the governor says Minnesota needs more time.
We cannot rest easy. This thing can explode overnight if you don't take the proper precautions.
Governor Tim Walz says today's stay-at-home extension is in part following the lead of the federal government, adding the next 3 weeks will be crucial for the state's future.
To plus up our hospitals, to increase testing, and to see what this thing is going to look like on the other side of it.
Walz applauded Minnesotans, saying they flattened the curve more than any other state, which in turn has helped avoid overflow in hospitals.
We were seeing early on a doubling about every 2 to 2.5 days. We've been able to get that out to about every 8 days.
Walz says the projected peak for the state comes in early July, giving more time to healthcare officials to build up equipment and bed space.
We can say with 95% confidence that we are going to need a minimum of 3,000 beds starting in the middle of May.
And as for ventilators, Walz says Minnesota is short, but more are on back order.
If you need a ventilator and don't get one, there's a very slim chance you're going to survive it. If you do need a ventilator and you get one, your chance of survival increases 10 times. So the issue is making sure that happens.
Walz adds how prepared the state gets in the coming weeks while residents continue to social distance will make the difference in saving Minnesota lives.
The one thing that I am most worried about is signaling to anyone, to the healthcare industry or to Minnesotans, that we're out of the woods and we can relax what we're doing. That's not what this says.
Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
The number of positive COVID-19 cases in Minnesota has risen to 1,154. Over 30,000 people have been tested and 632 people are out of isolation. A total of 135 people have been hospitalized and 64 people are in the ICU. The state now has 39 deaths due to COVID-19. Just because you didn't get rain today doesn't mean it won't show up. We still have rain and snow chances around the region. Let's get the latest from our First Alert Storm team. Hey, Hutch.
Hey, Andrea, did you see that little piece of ice float across our lens screen there? I'll tell you what, we're getting these fast-moving little snow showers and rain showers right around and dancing around that freezing line. Earlier in the afternoon, it was more rain, but most of the rain is heading down to the southern counties. And when one of these snow squalls passes you, it's a quick shot, reducing visibilities briefly. We saw moments ago in the Warroad area, a snow shower make its way through. 38 in Thief River Falls, 42 Fargo, and we have 44 in Jamestown this hour with 46 in Sisseton. Winds are gusting to over 50 miles per hour at times near Minot. So it's windiest out to the west. That wind advisory does continue, and I'm afraid the wind and the passing showers of snow will be a thing across the area all night long, as our temperatures are going to slip into the low 30s overnight here in Fargo. And we're going to be in the 20s in our northern valley as we go through the evening and into the overnight. Your hour-by-hour forecast does have some sunshine in it. And Andrea, we'll talk about that in a minute.
All right, that sounds good. Thanks, Hutch. Bemidji police are asking for the community's help in locating a missing 15-year-old. Police say Larissa Feather was last seen on April 1st. Feather is about 5'5", 165 pounds, with brown eyes and dark hair. She was last seen wearing a black shirt, black jeans, and black Nike tennis shoes. Authorities believe Feather may now be in the Mille Lacs, Minnesota area. Police did not provide a picture. Police in Fargo are reporting a spike in overdose calls across the metro. Officials say they have responded to 6 overdose calls since March 28th. One of those resulted in a death. Compare that to the entire first part of the year, when police had 6 overdose calls and 2 deaths. Authorities say this is a reminder that no illegal drug should be considered safe. Police are working to find the people responsible for selling the drugs and taking them off the streets.
We have contacted the post office. They said they'd fix it. It hasn't been fixed.
The United States Postal Service says the amount of mail being delivered has gone up in the FM area during these last few weeks, putting a strain on their services. Fargo employees recently tested positive for COVID-19. But as Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero explains, some residents say they're still having trouble getting their items.
Fargo postal workers are deemed essential, and we recently learned that still being on the job led to 2 employees testing positive for the novel coronavirus. The U.S. Postal Service has declined to tell us which offices they worked at or their positions, but a current employee who didn't want to be identified says all mail carriers are scared. USPS says the diagnosis came at a time where package delivery has gone up 20% in the Fargo area over the last 4 weeks.
Seems to have gotten worse the past 2 months.
Jennifer Moan says she's had trouble the last 2 years with mail delivery, and the coronavirus pandemic hasn't helped.
We still order online, especially now because you can't go to stores as much anymore because they're all closed. So we have no choice but to order online.
Moan says she's been placed on hold for at least 50 minutes when she contacts her West Fargo post office.
They said they would fix the issue, and they told my neighbors as well that they would fix the issue, and they haven't.
In their defense, USPS says their services have been impacted by the pandemic. Some employees are allowed to take sick leave. Although package delivery has gone up, the agency says mail delivery has declined overall, and they are experiencing a significant loss in needed revenue. In Fargo, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
The U.S. Postal Service says there is no scientific evidence by the CDC or the Surgeon General that COVID-19 can spread through the mail. We have been following this story for you since it came through our whistleblower hotline. If you need help with an issue in your community, call our hotline, 701-237-6576, and leave your tip. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. While physical distancing and COVID-19 have interrupted many areas of our lives, hospitals around the country are making sure seeing a doctor is not part of that. Sanford Health says in the last 3 weeks, they've seen over a 7,000% increase in virtual physician visits, going from just 23 visits a day to now around 1,800.
I think that this has really put a spotlight on telemedicine in general. And people are starting to feel more comfortable with receiving care in that manner. And so I think once we get through this pandemic, a lot of these telemedicine ways to provide care will stick.
For more information on how you can set up a virtual visit with your provider at either Sanford or Essentia, head to our VNL News app and click on this story. Senator Bernie Sanders has officially suspended his 2020 presidential campaign. Sanders made the announcement this morning, saying that it was a difficult and painful decision. The Vermont senator was the only Democratic candidate left in the field challenging frontrunner Joe Biden. During his bid for the presidency, Sanders worked to broaden his coalition from 2016, but in the end failed to find a path to the nomination. Sanders goes out of the race with 883 delegates to Biden's 1,196. A candidate needs 1,991 delegates to win the party's nomination. The Transportation Club of Fargo-Moorhead has partnered with several different organizations to say thank you to the truck drivers who are working during these stressful times to supply America with desperately needed supplies. Today, 45 local businesses handed out free lunches to truck drivers at the weigh station outside of Mapleton. Valley News Live also took part by donating several lunch boxes. About 200 lunches were given out last week and another 200 today. Still ahead tonight with the news that zoo animals have contracted COVID-19. Veterinarians are asking pet owners to take precautions so their animals don't get sick.
Gusty wind and cooler temperatures today. Not only that, we have areas of snow showers and rain showers dancing across the map. We'll have your hour-by-hour forecast coming up right after this.